So today, we are not actually visiting the theme park, we are on the website. Now you might be wondering, Quasar, why are you on the website for Cedar Point? We are doing a Cedar Point quiz. Here, I'll ask you a question. Name two major roller coasters that are blue and smooth. Blue and smooth again. Blue and smooth. If you guessed Gatekeeper and Millennium Force, you got 1 point. Tally up your points, and if you have 5 points out of 10, you get a 50%, and then so on and so on. Back and forth. Okay. Which coaster is a kid's coaster and is yellow? Which kid's coaster is yellow? Again, which kid's coaster is yellow? If you said Wild Mouse, you'd be correct. What major live entertainment gosh, what's it called? Live entertainment thing goes on during the summer at the boardwalk? If you guessed Boardwalk Nights, you would be correct. Which coaster at Cedar Point, which two coasters at Cedar Point are blue and rough? Oh, disclaimer, this is my opinion. Personally, you don't have to agree. Again, what two coasters are rough and blue, and the color blue? If you guessed Blue Streak and Corkscrew, you would be correct. Gosh, I don't know. I think we did like 4 questions, so we can do 6 more. Okay. What is this area of land mostly? Not on the map, like just in real life, in general. What is this mostly made of? What is this area that I'm circling mostly? If you guessed a parking lot, you would be correct. How many gates does Cedar Point have? How many gates does Cedar Point have again? Again, how many gates does Cedar Point have? Once more, how many gates does Cedar Point have? If you guessed 4, you would be correct. How many kid zones does Cedar Point have? Again, how many kid zones does Cedar Point have? Once more, how many kid zones does Cedar Point have? If you guessed 3, you would be correct. I think that was 6. How many bathrooms does Cedar Point have? And I'm totally not just counting them as we go. I am. How many bathrooms does Cedar Point have? How many bathrooms does Cedar Point have? Again, how many restrooms does Cedar Point have? If you guessed above 10, you'd be correct. That was 7, I think. What two major roller coasters are red? Well, what four major roller coasters? Sorry, not two. What four major roller coasters are red? Like the track. What four major roller coasters are red? Once more. What four major roller coasters are red? If you guessed Magnum XL200, Maverick, Steel Vengeance, and Siren's Course, you would be correct. If you want to add Iron Dragon on there too, you can. Again, this is just my personal opinion. How many first aid stations does Cedar Point have? How many first aid stations does Cedar Point have? Once more, how many first aid stations does Cedar Point have? If you guessed 2, you would be correct. We're gonna do one more question. How many, well, maybe not. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of a question. What was Steel Vengeance originally called before it got changed into an RMC roller coaster? Again, what name was Steel Vengeance originally called before it got changed into an RMC roller coaster? Once more, what was Steel Vengeance originally called before it got changed into an RMC roller coaster? If you guessed Mean Streak, you would be correct. Tally up how many points you have, and if you want to, put them down in the comments below, and you will no, you just can. Bye.